getting it, cuz. Send that thing. It's your boy, J Mitch. Yo, what's going on? It's your boy J Mitch. I'm bringing to y'all today the Vendetta center diff modification. Show you guys how I did it. Upgraded to the Mod 1 gear. The materials you'll need is the stock differential or slipper clutch assembly from your Vendetta or your Infraction. And then what you'll also need is your gear, and what I'm using here specifically is the Arrma gear. This is the 39 tooth gear, and I believe there's also a 34 tooth, and there may also be a 29 tooth Arrma gear. So that's specifically what I use. You could probably try to do the same thing with the with a Saga gear, 8mm bore gear. It must be an 8mm bore gear. So I'll talk you guys through the steps and try to be as clear as possible with you what I did. So what I first did is I took this red shaft and I put it into the end of my drill, and then what I did is I drove the shaft right through the center of the differential, because this is like really soft aluminum, but it's threaded for this this little plastic nut here. So I wanted to get rid of the thread, so the most efficient way to do that was just to go ahead and I'll put it on the end of my drill and pushed it right through. So again, I'm going to shout out to the boy RC Duke. Thank you, Duke, for putting me on. I'm not going to take credit for this. Duke put me on. He saw me ranting and he got at me immediately. So thank you so much for getting at me and letting me know what the deal was. The Thanksgiving Eve, let me know how to do this. So definitely want to shout him out and give him all the credit for this. So then what you have to do is this, you get, as you can see, I'm not running this, I don't run the spring, and I'm not running this nut anymore. So this little bearing part here you're left with. So what I had to do was I had to file that down just a little bit because of the spacing issues. When you put your differential together, you need to clearance it, or else it's going to rub inside of the housing here. So I took some, if you look in there, you can see I took a little file and I filed off some of that stuff on the front. Then I played with the spacing a little bit more, and then what I did is I went around the back here and I cut off this whole plate down to look like this. This is the exact direction, so you can see how much I cut off there. And I cut too much off. You might cut it one time and you might have the perfect space for when you sandwich this together. It has to fit together, and you don't want your gear to go be, you don't want to have it playing back and forth in there. Give me a second, I'll show you what I mean. Here's the assembled diff without this little spring. When I put this thing in here, it had too much play, and that might be acceptable, but what's going to happen is you're going to wear out the inside of this diff housing. So what I did is I took this stock spring off the front here and I cut it in half so that I could put it behind the gear so that it won't rub and it won't have any play when you put this back together. So with that, all you do is you take this spring, you put it on there, then you take your little shim thing or whatever this little diff part is here. Give me a second. Okay. So then you take your little diff part there and you put that in, and then you can put your whole diff back together. Of course, you want to shut your mesh and do all that stuff like you normally do too. But now it's like a compression fitting. So then when you tighten it up, you still have all your required spacing, but now you don't have the slop in your gear. So yeah, that's what I did there. So I would say you take that spring, and you might have to play with the length of the spring, how much you cut off or how much you keep. And then once you have it all set, you button this bad boy up. Okay, after you do all that, once you button it up, then you have your Mod 1 gear modification for this slipper clutch. So pretty cool, guys. Just wanted to bring that to you. I'll have a running video up soon. So just want to say again, thank you, Duke, for putting me on. Also, I want to shout out my homie Dave Hubbard. Shout out Ted. Shout out Adam. Shout out Big Willie. Shout out to everybody who supports your boy's channel. Thank you so much. You have a good evening, good day. Peace.